Here we are, another challenger match in the South Korean server. I'm BuffaloPrime. This is a demo reel for my Shoutcasting. This is a challenger match in the solo duo queue system within Korea. All of these competitors are challenger level. On the red side, we see Camille with Graves, Silas, Samira, and Alistar on the bot side. And on the blue side, our brand new top lane champion, Gwen, with Lee Sin, LeBlanc, Tristana, and Rell. So the point of this is just get some practice in with Shoutcasting. So, bear with me as we go through a couple of hiccups and pains, but, with all the intent to try to get better at our craft overall. So we take a look at the early matchups as these competitors enter onto the Rift. On the top side, we see Gwen versus Camille. These are two fairly mobile champions during team fights. Camille has the ability to really try to hone in on Gwen. Gwen, a little bit of good disengage with that AoE ability that makes her untargetable. Plus, she has some sustained AP damage and a little bit of a dash to go along with it. We'll see how that matchup pans out. Two very aggressive junglers in the Lee Sin versus the Graves. Lee Sin and Graves both able to skirmish very well, very early. LeBlanc and Silas in the mid lane. I think Silas and LeBlanc both need a little bit of time to scale, but definitely a matchup worth watching. And then Tristana, Rell, and Samira, Alistar, both incredibly large threats. I think the Tristana level 2 threat is renowned for being one of the most dangerous in the game. And Samira only needs a couple of levels behind her as well, especially the level 6 power spike for both of these on the bot side. So I would say that this is overall a pretty even matchup. I haven't watched through this video yet, but you can find all of these videos and more on Challenger Match or Challenger Replay on YouTube. I watch them quite frequently. It's a good opportunity to take a look at what some of the high elo players are doing with some of your favorite champions, as you can search by the champion that you would like to watch and see a video of somebody in a challenger queue being able to do that. A good trade on the top side for Gwen. Getting a little bit of early poke. Nothing really crazy about the runes I'm seeing across the board. All pretty standard. As we take a look at level progression and creep score, these are some stats that this YouTube page does give, which is very good. I'll lower the volume just a little bit. And we see Silas trying to go in and engage on the LeBlanc. The level 2 is there. There goes the ignite and a dash forward. That might be a first kill, though. A flash forward will secure first kill for LeBlanc, as she's able to blink back and avoid the Graves rebuttal, as first kill goes over to the blue side. Level 2 advantage here on the Samira and the Alistar, but the Rell is going to move forward. Again, Tristana's level 2 is potent. A little bit more so than Samira's early damage, so something that the Alistar and the Samira are going to have to try to respect. And with that early advantage, we see both mid laners picking up Dark Seals on either side. Kind of a really affordable AP scaling option. So even if you're losing the lane early, it's still worthwhile to get. A boots advantage, though, for LeBlanc. That'll be very good against the Silas. And there we see a little bit of a gold discrepancy. About enough for boots, so that's exactly what LeBlanc did. And here comes the gank from Lee Sin. Lee Sin dashing over to the LeBlanc, tries to get into the Silas. The Silas without flash does go in, tries to get the heal off, and manages to at least secure one on the backside before Lee Sin shuts him down. Silas picking up the first kill for the red team, and here comes engage onto the bot side. The Alistar managing to get a little bit of sustained CC and a top side fight. Camille with the ignite, a flash away from the Gwen, who's going to try to run into the alcove, but not enough sustain there, as Camille will secure a kill onto the top side of the map. It's now 2-2. One of the things you have to be careful of Silas, good engage there by the Samira, but Rell able to prevent that. A flash away actually brings the Alistar under tower as well, and Graves is down there, but won't get anything. Here comes a re-engage onto the top side. We are seeing a lot of fighting early between these two competitors, and Gwen is going in, lots of damage, able to win that exchange. Camille forced to pop a potion, but Gwen is not done yet. Brought down to maybe a 10th HP. Here comes to engage. And it's a fiesta in the mid lane. Rell's up here too. Lee Sin managing to go in. Silas brought very low and will be taken down. Graves under the protection of his tower. A great roam by the blue team's support, as Rell able to go up. And as soon as Lee Sin moved in, able to lock him up with her stun. And suddenly the blue team has a little bit of priority on this mid lane once again. And we see a lot of pressure on this top side. Alistar has roamed up, Hasn't been spotted yet, although the two junglers have a little bit of a fight in the mid lane. That Lee Sin is going to deal damage, but here comes an engage onto the Gwen. Alistar's up there, gets the stun. That should be an easy pickup for Camille, and that one goes down. Lee Sin in a precarious circumstance, but LeBlanc is on the side, able to deter Alistar, at least for now, as he'll dash away and Graves lives. Excellent roaming here from both supports, able to make impacts on the top side and the middle part of the map. Off of a reset, both very similar in minded. Obviously, Alistar, known for his roaming capabilities. It's not phase rush Alistar, though, so a little bit limited in that regard, but Rell able to get around the map as well. We see Iron Spike Whip coming through for Lee Sin. As his damage early is good, he is a little bit ahead of this Graves as well. Game state's still pretty even, though. The first blood differential going over to the blue side. CS discrepancy on the top side also going to be a factor as the Gwen is in good posture. A little bit behind the Camille overall. Engage here from the Silas. He'll be able to back away. Thing you have to be careful of Silas, though, is that he hits his skill shots and able to heal from there. Here comes the engage. A really good engage and a flash away by the Tristana, though. She's got nowhere to go. The Rell was not able to be in the right position to be able to peel as Alistar engaged incredibly well off that misplay, as the blue team support will also go down. That is a double kill in the 2v2 bot lane. Gwen looking to fight from here too, managing to get her portal down. Doesn't really help a whole lot against the Camille. A good fight in the mid lane though, as that burst damage from the combined LeBlanc and Lee Sin will be more than enough, and then Camille unable to run away from the Gwen. Suddenly the blue team has evened up the score. A back and forth affair early on between these two challenger solo duo queue. Actually, I do believe it's all going to be solo queue players now with the changes into Season 11. As again, that gold differential really is just the function of a little bit of extra CSing and the first kill bonus. And some platings on the top side for the Gwen. And, oh, a good kick there from the Lee Sin will prevent Alistar from engaging. That was a dangerous situation to be in, but able to at least get himself away. LeBlanc moves in, misses the stun. Here comes the Silas on the re-engage, but LeBlanc's able to blink back away and back into safety. Basically, everybody on the map, level 6, except for the Tristana, Rell, and the Alistar. Alistar lower level because of his roaming. We'll have to maybe stick around that bot side to try to get some experience back. The top lane skirmish continuing as Gwen's forced to run away. Good trade there with Camille. Camille ulting on top of the Gwen and puts the ignite down. Gwen unable to run away at this point. Will have to be chunked down, and just like that, Camille locking up another kill on the top side. And here comes an engage by the LeBlanc, but that's the thing with LeBlanc. She wants to go in, do burst damage, and then immediately leave. And again, these junglers meet. Lee Sin able to protect his own buff. Graves going to retreat back towards the Rift Herald. Will probably leap over that wall, or will start to take it. Nope, leaps back over that wall. Here comes Lee Sin around the Camille onto the top side. Camille recognizes that, able to run away, especially with the missing mark pings coming down on the LeBlanc in the mid lane. Interesting that this Alistar still went Hex Flash despite being Aftershock. Usually you see that Hex Flash combined with a Phase Rush. But that Hex Flashing ability, decent for early game pressure, decent for moving and navigating the jungle. Yep, see, here goes LeBlanc again with the Electrocute proc. He's going to be managing to take a lot of damage. Silas missing that skill shot. That's what you want to do. And, yeah, Silas taking LeBlanc's ult doesn't really do a whole lot, and Graves there to deter any further mishaps in the mid lane. You know, what we haven't been able to focus a whole lot on because there's been so much commotion on the top side of the map is this bot lane matchup. The Tristana Rell, who really need the ability to get ahead over a Samira lane, unable to do so. So not only do we see a CS advantage heading towards the Samira, but also 2 kills, and this Alistar has been really involved in the game. If you watch that lane progress out too, I mean, this Alistar, a good matchup against a Rell, can basically negate a lot of what Rell wants to do. really help carrying this lane ultimately, but is going to take kind of a wonky way around and gets chunked down pretty hard. That's about half of his health, and Camille is going to ult just to prevent the Gwen from doing too much more. And you fight under the tower as flash forward from the Silas. Then it looks like Lee Sin in the area to prevent any further harm. That LeBlanc walks away with maybe 100 HP total. Frustrating thing if you're a Silas when you connect on an ability to gap close and flash at the same time and you still don't have enough gap close to connect with a LeBlanc. Lee Sin once again there, but this time Silas goes ahead and takes a kick, gets connected onto the Lee Sin. There was a little bit of healing there too. We see a fight on the top side though, and here's Alistar again. Alistar's going to move in, try to get at least a stun, but he'll leave it up to the Camille. As Camille manages to take Gwen down, and nothing actually happened in the mid lane despite a pretty good fight engaged there from the Silas onto the Lee Sin. Got his healing proc off. There's no heal cut on the side of the blue team yet. It's still pretty early. So despite being 1-4, the Silas actually picked a good fight. And we caught away. It looks like Graves had come to, and Lee Sin was able to get out. Triforce completed for this Camille, which is going to make her that much more threatening, especially on the likes of the Gwen, who doesn't have a lot of defensive abilities other than that intargetable circle she's able to provide herself. Engage here from the Silas, will get stunned up, does take a buttload of damage, and no ignite tick. I thought I saw it there, but Silas forced to walk away and retreat again. But look at Lee Sin slithering around, gets the hit, and just like that, once again, Silas goes down, a victim of jungle pressure in the mid lane. A little bit of fancy feet here from the Gwen, but I don't think she wants to fight the Camille at all. Graves gets kicked and realigned by the Lee Sin. As this Lee Sin is absolutely massive. Rell forced to try to get back under the tower, but there's an ultimate from the Samira. Ultimate coming from Tristana to try to push him away. A flash away will occur as well, and she jumps forward, tries to at least get a kill onto the Samira, but the healing's going to be more than enough. Camille gets a kill onto the top side, and suddenly the red team, despite the Lee Sin doing a lot in the mid lane, manages to pick up a couple of kills. Still about 600 gold less. 400 gold. Yeah, it's starting to go down as we see plates moving over to the Camille onto the top side, but that gold differential is very close despite the fact that the red team does have a couple more kills. And the TP will be expended by the Gwen to try to at least save some farm, although Camille very easily able to move away. I think the next thing we have to look at, especially when you look at solo queue performances, is we have to take a look at some of these shutdown values that are on the map. Lee Sin with 500 gold on top of him. Samira with 500 as well. This Camille with 300. You got to imagine that both teams are going to be looking for a little bit of surge. A flash forward in and ult engaged by the Rell, though. That will lock up the Samira for a little bit, but her wind wall ability will be more than enough. A re-engage here by the Alistar. Graves not in a good position to follow up, as the blue team will apply pressure onto the bot side of the map and will look to potentially dive. I don't know if they see the Graves yet. LeBlanc is here as well. We have 4 people onto the bot side of the map. Silas moving into the main area of the mid lane, unable to help. And here comes a tower dive from the Camille. This is going to be a lot of damage from the Gwen, though. Wait a second. These items don't add up. How is Gwen doing so much damage? It just doesn't matter, though, as the item differential will at least pay off for Camille, as she barely is able to kill Gwen. And a TP play coming down here from the Silas as they gets the Rell engage. They managed to get one, and Tristana will jump away. This Samira is a problem. Lee Sin forced to run away with the LeBlanc, as this tower will likely drop onto the bot side of the map. Camille able to grab the top tower for the first one as well. And a good engage there onto the Alistar. Will not be able to live. And that will force the red team to retreat. Lee Sin looking for a fight here as well. A lot of shutdowns in this proximity. Lee Sin able to make a connection. I don't think he's going to take that, though. It would be pretty foolish. Red team walks away. Camille taking the blue buff on the top side. 2 wards here is a pretty good idea, ultimately. You think Samira is probably going to think she cleared the vision there. And here comes another fight, but this time Camille is only entering it with 3/4 health, so she will be forced to walk away for a little bit. Nothing really of value on this Gwen yet. The Sheen and the Caulfield Hammer at least built for now, but she is behind pretty significantly on this Camille. Graves also in the same boat, hasn't had the same pressure around the map that the Lee Sin's managed to have. Lee Sin also clearing his camps a bit faster, though Graves does have the Infernal Dragon on his side at least. Good damage here by the Camille, and then the Ignite comes down. I don't think Gwen's going to have any ability to get out of this one. Ultimate comes down, and just like that, Gwen easily able, or sorry, Camille very easily able to clean up that one. Here comes an engage onto the Silas, forced to flash away. There goes the topside jungle as Graves is just trying to fight for something here. A smite coming down, but now Lee Sin's left alone. There was a kick there on the stolen ultimate by the Silas. The Graves and the Silas trying to battle the Lee Sin, but the Lee Sin is so unbelievably tanky and sustainable. Silas missing the engage there, but here comes the Alistar on the other side. It's a 4v3 in favor of the red team. The Camille's running down as well. They continue to move around Samira with the dash forward and getting the flash out of the Lee Sin. But here comes the Camille getting a flash out of the LeBlanc. They're chasing down the blue team through the river, but no casualties this time around. They start to pressure that mid tower. Here's an excellent ultimate there from the Rell. Manages to group everybody together, get some chain CC. Alistar in the middle of it, pops his ultimate as well, but the team, Samira, absolutely free firing. It's a 1-for-1 trade. The spear does go down thanks to the tower pressure and the LeBlanc, while Silas able to clean up one on the backside as well. A 1-for-1 trade. Red team still in a pretty decent position, but this game in terms of gold is absolutely dead even. We see the Oblivion Orb coming through for the LeBlanc, the first semblance of heal cut on the side of the blue team. That will help with both Samira and with Silas. It will also slightly help with Alistar's passive in mitigating the amount, the amount that is granted there. But you see where the juggernauts are on both sides of the game, right? You see that the Lee Sin's going to do a lot of damage. The LeBlanc's going to do a lot of damage. Those are the two win conditions on the side of the blue team. On the red team, this Camille and this Samira, if left unhinged, have the ability to absolutely decimate everybody on the other side. But we see weak points in both teams as well. The Silas, pretty far behind. The Gwen, also far behind. Both supports still in a fairly squishy state as we are approaching 18 minutes into this game and they still don't have a mythic item completed. Camille caught in a bad position though. She will be absolutely melted. Shutdown going over to the side of the LeBlanc, I believe, got that kill. And Lee Sin coming in to swoop and grab the Scuttle Crab. So that's a big shutdown you don't want if you are the red team. As Camille, very unaware that there were so many people in that proximity. And here comes an interesting back from the LeBlanc. It's going to be hard to catch out at someone like them. Oh my lord, the burst damage! She's able to dash away, but here comes the Silas. The Everfrost treatment to the Alistar engage. They caught her on a ward and managed to actually lock her up and shut her down. Morellonomicon now completed for the side of the LeBlanc. Here comes a TP down from the Camille. He forced Gwen to back away. Good pressure on the bot side of the map, though, forcing Camille to use her TP just to get down there and clear wave. But here comes the engage by the Lee Sin. I think he accidentally got the Alistar there. Maybe not the fight he wanted, but it's the fight he got. And here comes Samira into the middle of the entire fight, but again, Tristana absolutely free firing on the backside. That's a double kill. Here comes Camille trying to lock down the Tristana. Will manage to do so. Onto the backside goes Gwen, but there's just not enough damage remaining anymore. With the Tristana down on the blue team, the red team will look to clean up here. Gwen fighting for her life, but that's a lot of damage still on the side of the red team. And it looks like that was a 4-for-4 trade on the 5v4 for the red team. Camille trying to engage on the elusive LeBlanc. That's a lot of damage coming out, but LeBlanc did die prior to that fight, so it was a fight that blue team was at a disadvantage on. But Tristana able to completely lacerate the Samira and the Alistar. Unfortunately, Camille exists, so that was difficult for her to sustain. Graves also able to do a good job of layering the damage, but the end of the day, I mean, it was a kind of a fair, even fight. And both teams walk away, you know, red team a little bit ahead, but still a very close game. Seeker's arm guard coming out on the side of the Silas. That is looking to eventually move into his Zanya's, as he also has the stopwatch. He'll have a little bit more sustain, a little bit less damage, but if you're Silas here, I think sustaining is a little bit more important. Being able to Zanya's out your cooldowns if you're in the middle of a fight gives you more opportunity to sustain a little bit longer, try to get onto the likes of the LeBlanc and on the likes of the Tristana, and try to mitigate how much damage they're doing. This will be a Cloud Drake potentially going over to the red team, as blue is not in a position to contest, and they will give it up. So now you have 2 dragons to 1 on the side of the red team, and Camille is looking to actually engage. Tries to get onto the Tristana, but that ultimate will prevent the leap away, and that's a first kill for the red team. LeBlanc forced to run away, but there are a lot of pursuers. She blinks back, and that's a grabbed ultimate from the Silas. The blue team tries to respond, and here comes the overall fight. Lee Sin onto the backside, trying to get onto the Samira, manages to get the kill there. But on the other end, Camille able to clean up a little bit as well. Al starting to re-engage onto the Lee Sin, but Lee Sin's able to continue to sustain. Silas is back up from his stopwatch, does manage to get a kill. Ignite burn taking down a flash forward from the Gwen. I'm sorry, not the Gwen, the LeBlanc able to pick up the kill onto the Silas. She's still in pursuit. Lots of damage here. Look at that. Oh, man. Alistar able to knock her away. A smoke screen there might not be enough, though, as now Alistar's the new target. This LeBlanc, very healthy. Blue buff, red buff, gets a kill onto the Alistar as well. Oh, my. So much damage with just 2 items. The Leandry's burn, the red and the blue buff working together, and the Morellonomicon to prevent the likes of Silas from healing, to prevent a little bit of Graves sustain, to prevent that passive on the form of the Alistar. I don't think Graves even knows that everybody's there. He manages to dash away, though, and attempted engage, but Graves with the great escape, but it's still LeBlanc. It's still her ability to move around the map. She gets another. That's 7 in total for LeBlanc. Silas attempting to steal the buff there, does not manage to do so. Will walk away licking his wounds as well. Can you believe that we are 22 minutes into this game? We've seen 39 kills, and this game is still up for grabs, as the blue team is going to go ahead and start the Baron. Red team without any real vision there, although the control ward from the Alistar will spot out that they've begun to try to do this. Here comes an engage by the Alistar as well. And the Camille is in the mid side, but there goes the Rell and the ultimate onto the top. And just like that, Gwen gets one onto the Samira. There is a GA pop on the side of Camille while she manages to get one. Trade on the backside, though, as the blue team looks to be in command. A re-engage will not be enough. That is a 4-for-2 victory on the side of the blue team this time around. Again, I think that's a function of just the red team not being all there. Zanya is going to be completed here from the side of the Silas. Dead Man's Plate on the side of the Rell, electing to get that instead of a mythic item. That's going to give her a little bit more movement speed into these fights, a little bit more sustain against some of the AD threats on the other side. But what a fight around Baron. The red team thought they had the engage they wanted, but the Samira blew up way too early for that to be sustained. The Camille also did her best. Guardian Angel popped, so a little less sustained onto the next fight, but not able to deal enough damage before getting melted away as well. And I gotta say, this Lee Sin and this LeBlanc, massive problems for the side of the red team here, as Lee Sin will spot out this Silas, looking for a little bit of help. We'll watch as the camp gets taken away. Kind of just lets him go, though. Probably didn't think, doesn't really know where anybody else is on the map. Probably didn't want to engage on something that he didn't think he was going to be able to win. Ooh, Steric's Gauge coming from the side of the Lee Sin. It's that combination of damage and sustain that Lee Sin's building here between the Core Drinker, the Steric's, the Black Cleaver. That's a lot of, again, tanky sustained damage. That trade goes in the favor of Camille, as you would imagine it would. But this Gwen is not weak either, as there goes the ultimate down from the Gwen, or sorry, for the Camille, but that Ignite tick will be able to kill the Gwen, but not be able to sustain from there. And interestingly enough, the Rell got the kill credit. What? Engage here by the Alistar as well. It's a 3v3 into the middle side of the map. Just kidding. We're moving to a 4v3, or sorry, 4v4. Lockdown here is going to come from the LeBlanc. That ultimate from Alistar a little bit early. Not going to be able to save him, though, as another kill goes to the blue side as they take a look at Baron from here. Red team's not going to be able to do a whole lot about this. With only 3 members up and still long respawn timers on their top and support, they'll be able to maybe poke away, maybe go for some sort of steal here, but it's a little bit scary. They don't have vision. Silas trying to make some kind of play here. They might just concede this, and yes, they will. Blue team takes the Baron. Suddenly, the red team looking to potentially just trade the dragon objective here. They'll be on soul point with this one. Blue team will concede that as well. Decent macro call for both of these teams. Took the Baron and the dragon trade after a very good fight for the blue team, but that Cloud Drake will help the red team as their cooldowns get brought down a little bit further. Here comes LeBlanc looking potentially for the Samira. Everfrost coming down here and an ultimate from the Silas. It looks like the Rell might be caught out here. Samira dashes in and ults, and that'll be that. Camille also caught killing, I should say, the LeBlanc on the backside. Just like that, the blue team was a little bit disorganized and they get picked off 1-1. The red team now pushing despite not having the Baron. They're pushing into the base. Lee Sin has his kick down. Middle inhibitor gone. TP in as well. What a play here. They have Baron minions in the base they have to try to clear, but this push might be enough. Lee Sin trying to engage on the backside. Alistar brought really low. Here comes the Zanya's Hourglass and a flash away by the Lee Sin. Camille ults there, but that is not going to be enough as the Graves. Also, Camille taking out Tristana on the backside despite the Gwen. This actually might be a push for a potential win for the red team. Here comes an engage from the Rell. An ultimate from the Samira, though. Will back off a little bit, though, but they're able to get one on the backside thanks to Gwen's damage and Rell CC. Rell looking for a potential engage, but Silas dashes away, puts the Everfrost down. That'll prevent any further engage for now. The blue team, though, potentially looking for more. That looked really good for the red team for a little bit. I think they got a little too hyphy, though, as they were exploring options of killing in the base, dying at the same time. Red team maybe, I don't know if they had a real possibility of ending there, but crazy good pressure here despite being a little bit behind and despite the fact the blue team had the Baron buff. Baron buff still on the blue team members that didn't die in the last fight for the next 40 seconds. I want to say that's probably just Rell. No, I think maybe Gwen has it too. It's kind of hard to tell from this angle, though. This will be a nice cloud fight as that's coming up in the next 2.5 minutes. We may see kind of a showdown for the game around that buff, though it is a cloud soul, not one that you would lose sleep over if you had to give that up. Blue team posturing a lot of vision around the top side of the map. Red team able to get some good vision onto the bot side, though, which is where the objective is going to eventually be. GA back on the side of this Camille as they continue to sweep vision out. And yeah, red team is going to apply a lot of pressure to this bot side jungle. It will be dark and full of terrors pretty soon as Camille gets some good damage onto the Lee Sin, but nothing going there. Potential fight coming in here as well. That is an amazing amount of damage from the Tristana. Here comes a flash engage from the Silas. I'm sorry, a dash engage from the Silas, managing to pull the Rell ult. He tries to get some additional damage down, but the LeBlanc still will not die. Tristana will do not enough damage to kill the Silas before LeBlanc goes down on the other side of the map. The Rell goes down as well. That is a blown up Tristana. The red team absolutely decimating. Gwen the only one alive. It's a 4-for-1. The red team completely wiping and barely surviving against that fight. They look to TP. This could be the end. Lots of damage flying around in all directions, but the people you needed to stay alive stayed alive. The Samira taking tower damage to make it look a little bit different, but here comes an Alistar engage. The Gwen will try to at least get one, does manage that, but the Camille will finish off the job. That'll be a victory for the red team. Hope you enjoyed this Shoutcasting demo. Again, I'm BuffaloPrime. If you ever need a Shoutcaster for your game, feel free to reach out to me, BuffaloPrimeTV@gmail.com. Thank you, and have a good one.